what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell a quick little story, and then I'm going to just talk about a few things I've been involved in recently and why I think they're important. And perhaps Terry, my friend from Six Nations, may give some input as well. I just want to put this symbol up here. Has anybody seen this before? Yeah. Can someone tell me what this means? Don't be afraid if you get it wrong or whatever.
It represents the Mohawks pay the.
Yeah, it represents I guess you would know us as a Six Nations people, and what this represents. I like to say this because a lot of people, it seems that they see this and they might just see it's like a native flag or something, or and maybe you don't really know what the story behind it, but it represents peace in Henhawk, the Mohawk Nation. It's Ghana, and this was a way of life. This was our constitution. This is how we did things. We were people, just like any people around the world, who fought over territory, killed each other, and did all these horrible things, just like any human beings in the world. And but there was a time when peace came, and the peace came from, well, they call this guy the peacemaker, and he came from the Huron Nation, and the Huron territory is like just north of Lake Ontario, and the Haudenosaunee people would be south of that. And I want to say this because there's so many issues that we face as people, right? Like through the environment and all these things. But I think for me personally, like one of the biggest issues is war around the world, right? To me personally, it's really hard to be happy inside, like genuinely happy, that real happiness, because I know that all around the world there's people that are being hurt, and especially little kids, right? People that are being hurt because this nation wants to exploit that nation or whatever, and war starts, and then little kids start to actually get hurt. And I always say this, that like if I ever were to have like an enemy or someone that I really didn't like, and if I wouldn't want to fight them. I don't really fight. I mean, I fought when I was a kid, and got in fights here and there. But I wouldn't want their kids to be hurt, even if I hated them. I wouldn't want their kids to die, or I hope they wouldn't want my kids to die. But we've kind of lost that, and I think that needs to be out there. And this is what this piece was about. It was a real way, and it's still real. It's still alive. I think it's really, really important for the world to understand that, right? That we need to live in peace. Because when this peace first came, the Haudenosaunee people took it so seriously important. When we greeted each other, we would say like Sego, Skana, Goa, and some people say that it's like hello, how are you? But it's not really that. You're saying Sego, Skana, Goa, like, is the peace with you, right? Because when that peace was established, we wanted to make sure that if I'm gonna say hello to this guy, I want to see if the peace is with you first before I even come over to you. Because if it's not, then maybe I should just step away and you need to deal with that first, or we can talk about that. But if you have peace and I have peace, then we can come together, right? So the peacemaker story, just real quick, he was raised by his mom from the Huron Nation, and his mother was sort of a person that wanted to find peace in herself and find peace in all this struggle. It's like right now, right? We have all this stuff going on. We need, like, I'm doing that right now, and it's not easy. Like, really finding that inner peace, like real peace. For me, it's easy not to be violent, like physically, like, But I mean, there's still like things you have to work on with that inner peace. And she walked away from the Haudenosaunee territories, the Huron territory, sorry, to just live in the village, to live in the woods, and she made her own place to live and raise this kid in peace. And what he did when he was old enough, he traveled down to the Haudenosaunee territories, and he went to the Mohawk Nation first to spread the peace to the Mohawk Nation. They accepted the peace, and I was told that the Mohawk Nation, the Kanien'kehá:ka Nation, the reason why he went to the Mohawk Nation first was because in the Haudenosaunee territories and beyond, we had this reputation of being very fierce, and like nobody wanted to really mess with us because we were pretty mean. Not everyone, but I mean we had that reputation of being very mean and fierce, and as well as the Seneca Nation did. So he went here first. This represents the Mohawk Nation. He went here first, and the Mohawks accepted that peace. And his strategy was, okay, well, if the Mohawks do it, then the rest of the nations it might be easier to get them to do it. So they accepted it, and then he went on to the Oneida Nation with some of the Mohawks. They accepted it, but they skipped the Onondaga territory. And they skipped the Onondaga territory because there was this person in this nation. They called him Tadadaho, and he was very sick with power. He was a human being, but he was very, very sick with power. And I relate that today with personally these forces that are using their power in such a bad way, right, all around the world. To me, that's Tadadaho today. You know what I mean? So the peacemaker knew, and everyone that was with him, they knew that they couldn't deal with them just yet. He couldn't deal with Tadadaho. So what they did is they skipped the Onondaga territory, and they went to the Cayuga Nation. The Cayuga Nation accepted it, and then they went to the Seneca Nation. And the Seneca Nation didn't accept it right away. There was this chief who was very well known for his ways in war, and he was very respected, and he was talking to the peacemaker about this peace, and he was like, no, we don't, the Seneca Nation's strong, because remember I said they had that reputation too. The Seneca Nation's strong, we don't need the peace. He wasn't really disrespecting it, he just said, we don't need that, we're strong. And so the peacemakers eventually they said okay, and they were gonna go and try and deal with Tadadaho and get the Onondaga Nation to join it. But what happened when the peacemaker and those nations left the Seneca territory, this man's daughter that refused the peace, she ended up passing away. I think she was hit by lightning or something like that. I'm pretty sure it was lightning, but when that happened, he realized that there was something stronger than him out there. There was something stronger than the Seneca Nation, and that's our Mother Earth. The Creator, And he sent for them to come back. He's like, he sent some warriors from the Seneca Nation, go get them, tell them to come back. They came back, they accepted it. So the Mohawks, the Oneidas, the Cayugas, and the Senecas all joined this peace, and they then went to the Onondaga Nation. This story is really, really long. I'm really cutting it down. Actually, the Great Peace is recited in the language. It's supposed to be recited, I think, twice a year, and it takes 4 days to recite it in the language.
Wow.
And when I say that to recite it, the whole Constitution. So it's being recited actually in August, from August 10th to August 9th, right? And when they recite it, it's basically reciting this system of how to live in peace. Wow. Everything, how to do it, how do we live in peace? So, anyways, they went to they had to deal with Tadadaho, and it wasn't easy. People did pass away from this struggle, but Tadadaho was they didn't have to kill him. They had to just help him and heal him from that sickness. And eventually they did that, right? And with everything that's happening around the world, down south and up here and over there, like we need that. We need unity, right? We all know that. Like we need that unity. Like we're stronger together. The peacemaker, when he was trying to explain the peace to, I don't know which nation, but sometime in the story he took a stick. He took one stick and he broke it over his knee. And then he took 5 of them. I believe it was 5 because we are the 6 nations because the Tuscarora did join the peace, but later on. So let's say 5. I'm pretty sure it's 5. But he took 5 of them and he couldn't break it, right? And he was showing that the strength and unity and the strength of coming together in peace. So that's what that is, and I want to say that just because I think it's important to talk about peace, and like we need that, and I want to like just share who we are as Haudenosaunee people. Yeah, so I wanted to say that, and I do want to talk about a few things. One would be like the 2006 land struggle and 6 Nations Caledonia, and it's been like 6 years since then, and you might have heard about it in the news here and there. Most likely you didn't hear about it in a good way over the news. But that to me, like even back then, I wasn't even awake as I am now. Because I remember that stuff happening, and I wasn't raised with my culture or politically aware at all. And in 2006, I kind of knew what was going on, but I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how important it was. But coming to realize all this stuff, what happened to me, it's clear, right? Like these people who wanted to invest and build these homes or this development, they would have got away with it, 100%. They would have got away with it, and they wanted to if nobody would have done anything. Because I think about that all the time. It exposes the bullshit. Right? Because the only reason why that we have Ganastado is the protected place, that land that was protected and reclaimed. The only reason why we have it is because people stood up and did something, right? And we made that, well, I wasn't there, but the people made that choice to do that. I think about that all the time because that, to me, it shows like the system and these people who don't really care about our rights, our territory. They don't really care. Like they're willing to just try to get away with things and to test, because I know if we would have done nothing, that would have just been Caledonia. That development, it would have been just Caledonia and that's it. But we stood up and we protected that land, and it wasn't just Haudenosaunee people who did that. It wasn't just 6 Nations people. It was all kinds of people from all over the place who came together to protect that territory, right? And it was a true struggle. There was a lot of hardship and pain that came from that, and there is still pain from that. Like a lot of racism that came from that. And not just like from Native people, from white people, just racism in general. It caused racist tensions, right? But it's been 6 years, like I said, and the land has been being negotiated. Well, no, it hasn't actually. Sorry. From my understanding, in regards to negotiation, as soon as I think the provincial government and the Confederacy Council, like our chiefs, as soon as people were open to bringing in a third party to kind of, so it wasn't like a bias type of thing, the federal government just said peace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it's been like, because they know that they're wrong. It's clear. You just have to look into it, right? So it's just been like that for like 6 years. And I want to talk about April 28th. I don't know if anybody here was at that march, but to me that was really important too. On April 28th, a lot of people came from different places to come together to give energy to a new path and a path of healing. That's how I took it. because with all that racial tension between the communities of Six Nations and Caledonia, for all those people to march from Caledonia onto Ganestado with that Beslenta, the two-row wampum flag, was showing like the people are still here. The people that are not going to forget, and we want to do something about it. We don't want to just sit and we're just neglect negotiations and just leave it, because that's what's been happening. Like there's literally no movements towards going somewhere with it. April 28th to me was important because in Six Nations and even in Caledonia, it's like if you're from Caledonia, people from Six Nations, there's this tension, and same with you from Six Nations. It's like it helped me too, because in Caledonia, like going in Caledonia, I always had this, I don't know, maybe like a stigma because I'm from Six Nations, like I heard about all this stuff. But when April 28th happened, it changed that for me, because I seen people, as we walked down Argyle Street, I seen people with signs and energy like supporting us from Caledonia, right? And business owners, like I can't remember who, but even in the paper, I think it was the Tekka or the Turtle Island paper, a business owner was speaking out about like we know what's going on here. We know they've been dealing with this for 200 years, and we support it. So it opened up it helped me deal with that stigma. I don't really have that anymore, and my mind is a little more open to that. I'm not as worried about that because I've seen all these people as we walk down there supporting us. Yeah, there were some things that happened that we expected. People did say some rude things. I mean, but you're gonna get that everywhere, right? But I try not to dwell on that. I acknowledge it, it's a reality, but I mean, feeding into that isn't really gonna help our situation. Feeding into that positive energy will help it. So that was April 28th. We did that beautiful march. A lot of people showed up, and to me, like, I'll never forget that day ever. And now we can look back on April 28th, and we can remember 2006 for all that pain and beauty that came from it, but we can say April 28th happened now. It's a new direction. And I wanted to talk about. Did you want to say anything like about Ganestado? Anything that you feel that?
It's been a struggle in our community.
Has to be louder.
Have to stand up.
Sorry. I'm not going to speak that long.
Use the mic.
Ganestado's been a struggle in our community. We've had a lot of issues with division and that. I mean, that's basically where we're coming from. So that was a beautiful opportunity to bring different people in our community, people that, were believing in, traditional council or elected council or, Christianity or just different beliefs. Everyone could come together at that point and opportunity. So I totally was, honored to be a part of it. And all I did was walk. I didn't plan any of it, but, it inspired me to move. It inspired me to do. And that's why I'm here today with Eva and Tom and like everyone here too. So it was a point of beauty for me to move. That's it. Yeah.
I just want to say, I know you said I have no time, but I want to hear something that's really, I just feel I want to share this from the Dundalk March. The Dundalk March, did they know? Okay. So you guys kind of know what happened and everything. All these people coming together, marching to protect our earth, to stop that waste from being dumped on the land there, on Haudenosaunee territory, which everyone's welcome on to stay, but respect our territory, respect who we are. But there's something that I just want to say that when we were doing that march, the Haudenosaunee people were asked to lead it, and maybe to kind of acknowledge that land issue. If you notice, you've seen the flags, the Haudenosaunee people leading it. Halfway through the march or so, someone had said to me, there was a kid that he's probably from Dundalk. If you watch the video, you'll see what I'm talking about. There was a kid that he was marching with his Canadian flag right up there with the Haudenosaunee people, right? And someone had said to me, hey John, do you want me to ask him to step back? And right away I said no, because that image, and when I watched that video, that's to me the energy of Turtle Island and how we should be. I didn't want him to, this person, and that person wasn't asking me to do that in a disrespectful way. They were just asking me if I wanted him to step back with his flag or whatever, just to respect what was planned, right? But I said no because I wanted that kid to march with his Canadian flag and to be a proud Canadian walking with some proud Hautenosaunees, right? So if you look at that video, see that, you know, because there's always this like division of like Canadians and, you know, Hautenosaunees or natives and stuff like that. And Turtle Island was never like that. Turtle Island was accepting to everybody. Everybody can live here and be who you are, but let's just respect each other and let's keep our mother healthy. But yeah, okay.